On this day 13 years ago, December 8, 2012, 33-year-old Chief Petty Officer Edward C. Byers, Jr. and his U.S. Navy SEAL team were preparing to execute a daring nighttime hostage rescue in eastern Afghanistan. American physician Dr. Dileep Joseph had been captured by Taliban insurgents on December 5th, along with 2 Afghan colleagues. Intelligence showed that the captors might move or kill their hostages as soon as December 9th, so the SEAL team had to act quickly. Byers' unit was inserted by helicopter into Laghman province, and the team then trudged more than 4 hours through rugged, mountainous terrain to reach the remote Taliban-held compound where the American hostage was believed to be held. In the pre-dawn darkness, as the SEALs stealthily approached the target building, an armed sentry suddenly spotted them at close range and rushed inside to warn the others. Petty Officer First Class Nicholas D. Check, the team's point man, sprinted forward and shot the sentry before he could sound a full alarm. Check pushed into the compound first, bursting through the doorway, but he was immediately met by enemy gunfire and fell, mortally wounded by a Taliban shooter inside the single-room hut. Undeterred by his comrade's collapse, Chief Byers was just steps behind and charged into the room through the doorway that was partly obstructed by heavy wool blankets hung as a barrier. Fully exposed to potential enemy fire, Byers tore down the multiple layers of thick blankets that were covering the entryway. The moment he pushed through into the dimly lit room, Byers came face to face with an enemy guard aiming an AK-47 at him, and he instinctively opened fire, shooting the gunman dead at point-blank range. Almost simultaneously, Byers spotted another adult male scrambling toward a corner of the room where additional weapons were stacked. He lunged without hesitation, tackling this second insurgent to the ground and engaging him in a ferocious hand-to-hand fight on the dirt floor. In the midst of the struggle, Byers heard a voice speaking English from elsewhere in the pitch-black room. It was Dr. Joseph calling out to identify himself. That shout told Byers that the man he had pinned under him was not the hostage at all, but another enemy combatant. Byers immediately subdued the insurgent he had tackled, eliminating him at close range to ensure the threat was neutralized. Guided by the hostage's voice, Byers then sprang toward Dr. Joseph and hurled himself on top of the captive, using his own body as a shield to protect the American from the barrage of gunfire still erupting inside the small room. While covering the doctor with his body, Byers spotted a third Taliban fighter within arm's reach and grabbed him by the throat, slamming the armed militant against the wall. Byers kept his hand clamped on the enemy's throat, pinning the fighter in place until a fellow SEAL could shoot the attacker and eliminate the threat. In the span of barely a minute, the SEALs had killed or incapacitated all the hostage-takers. Byers' decisive actions under fire, engaging multiple enemies in close quarters and shielding the hostage at great personal risk, ultimately saved the life of Dr. Joseph and protected several of Byers' teammates from being shot. With the hostiles neutralized, the team secured Dr. Joseph and began to exfiltrate from the compound. Byers, who was also the unit's medic, immediately turned his attention to Petty Officer Check, who was gravely wounded and unresponsive on the floor. As his comrades carried the rescued hostage to safety, Byers desperately worked to save his teammate's life. He performed CPR and other life-saving measures on Check for a full 40 minutes, including during a helicopter flight to Bagram Airfield. But despite Byers' efforts, Check succumbed to his gunshot wound during the evacuation. The mission had successfully rescued the American hostage, but it came at the cost of the lead assaulter's life. For his heroism that night, Nicholas Check was posthumously awarded the Navy Cross, the United States' second-highest award for valor in combat. On February 29, 2016, in a ceremony at the White House, President Barack Obama presented Chief Edward B. Byers with the Medal of Honor for his gallantry during the rescue operation. In awarding the nation's highest military honor, President Obama cited Byers' conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty during the 2012 mission. Byers continued to serve in the Navy for several more years and retired from active duty in September 2019, concluding a distinguished 21-year military career. Edward C. Byers remains alive today, living in peaceful retirement after a lifetime of valiant service to his country.